Alright, it's time for some review for my students and for anyone else who wants to review this stuff. Today we're going to be covering 5 different things. We're going to be covering time signature, measures, double bar line, repeat signs, and treble and bass clefs. I have taken a song that was an original composition that I made for a student called Dino Master, and we're going to use this as our example. So the first thing that we are going to talk about is time signature, which is this guy right here. Also, that guy right there. Those are the time signatures. And they tell you how many beats are going to be in a measure, so how many how many beats are going to be in the measure, and what kind of beat is going to get, or sorry, what kind of note is going to get each beat. So, for most of us beginners, it is going to be 4/4 or 3/4. So it'll usually have a 4 on the bottom. So we're just going to say quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note. Quarter note's going to be your beat, your t, 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 t. When I grow up, I will be. So the whole point of looking at the time signature is to count how many quarter notes, how many beats we have here. So right here I've got, so if a quarter note, I know it's a bad quarter note, equals 1 beat, and we're going to review that, of course, a half note, which is like a quarter note but it's not filled in, that one equals 2 beats, right? Okay, so counting these, it's 1, 1, 1, 1. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. It matches the time signature. There are 4 beats in this measure. So that means the time signature works out. Okay, so that's what the time signature is important for telling you how many beats are going to be in this measure. Speaking of measures, a measure is whatever is in between these things called measure lines, bar lines. And bar lines are going to be in between all of your different sets, except for the beginning. In the very beginning, let's get rid of some of this drawing so you can see. In the beginning there's this bar line, I guess, over here, but otherwise you don't have a, it's not going to be a very clear bar line. But whatever is starting from the beginning to the next thing, that's going to be a measure. So here we've got, again, 1, 1, 1, 1, that equals 4. So that works. 4 beats in this measure. Over here, let's check and see if this one works. 1, 1, and then this, as we said before, a half note is worth 2 beats. So 1, 2, plus 2 is 4, so that also equals 4 beats. And we're going to see that the whole way through, is that each of these measures is going to equal 4 beats. So we can also start numbering these measures. I'm going to choose purple for this, just because. And that means this is called measure 1. This is called measure 2. This is called measure 3. This is called measure 4. And then you keep going. So, but there's one thing that I'm going to point out. You don't start numbering down here, measure number 5. That is wrong, because this bar line says that it applies to both of these staffs right here. So you need to, it's not a 5 down there, it's a 5 over here. 5, measure 6, measure 7, measure 8. Now if we look down here, there's nothing going on up top, but there is down bottom, and that's how, if I say, okay, go to measure 6, you count, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, nothing going on here, but I am going to pay attention to these notes down here. So that's how we use measures. They help us keep track of where we are in the song and that means I can say go to measure blah blah blah, and you know exactly where I want you to go. I don't have to say, okay, go to line number 2 on the second page, go like, okay, so count those, no. All I have to say is go to measure number 7, and you say, oh, measure number 7, okay, I know where I am. Alright, so that's time signature, that's measures. Now we're going to do double bar line. This is a very quick review. Double bar line, this guy right here, actually I'm going to change my color here to green. This guy right here, this means end of song. So I said this is a bar line, right? It separates the measures. Bar lines separate measures. Say it with me. Bar lines separate measures. Double bar line says that's the end of the song. So that's how you know you're done. Easy peasy. Okay, repeat signs. However, if for some reason you see not just a double bar line, but you also see, let's see here, let's make it black. You also see these little dots next to it. I know these are really poorly drawn dots, but the point is that you see dots next to your double bar line. That means repeat. So wherever that repeat sign is facing inwards to, you got to go find either the other set of repeat signs or the beginning of the song. So in this case, let's just say it's the beginning of the song. So this song would go, when I grow up, I will be Dino Master, you will see. If you don't believe me too, I'll make my T-Rex eat you. When I grow up, I will be Dino Master, you will see. If you don't believe me too, I'll make my T-Rex eat you. So that's an example of how we would use the repeat signs. Notice that I didn't take any kind of break or pause or anything like that in between right here and going back to the beginning of the song. But let's say that we did have a repeat sign somewhere. So I'm going to draw in a repeat sign. So here's a bar line. I'm going to add an additional bar line. And here are my little dots, little dots, little dots, little dots. I know they're bad dots, but hang with me here. Okay, so I would start at the beginning. When I grow up, I will be Dino Master, you will see. If you don't believe me too, I'll make my T-Rex eat you. But I have this repeat sign thing. I have to go and find the next set of dots that are facing inside. So I found some. I didn't have to go to the beginning of the song. I found some right here. So I know that I'm going to repeat this section, but only once. So it would go, I'll make my T-Rex eat you, I'll make my T-Rex eat you, and then you would stop. Because a repeat sign means you only repeat 2 times, not forever, not 3, not 4, not until you die, just 2 times, unless there is a little sign that says this. It might say, repeat 3 times. In that case, you would do this. I'll make my T-Rex eat you 1. I'll make my T-Rex eat you 2. I'll make my T-Rex eat you. And that was 3 times. Now when you're actually singing it, you wouldn't say 1, 2, 3. But that was just an example, so you get the point. Okay. So the last thing, treble and bass clefs. Super easy. Okay, I'm going to choose pink because I can. Alright, this guy right here, this is a treble clef. If you're playing piano, it pretty much always means, especially in the beginning, pretty much always means that it is going to be your right hand that plays it. Right hand. This is the area that you'll sing in, especially if you are young, boy or girl. You'll be singing in the treble clef area. When you get older, especially boys, but even girls can reach down here. I can go personally to about this note down here, but that's the lowest I can go. This guy right here, he is the bass clef, and it is usually played with your left hand if you are a piano player, especially if you are a beginning piano player. you will be able to sing in the notes that go super low like this if you're a boy when you get older, or when you're a girl and you get older and you have a really flexible voice. So that's it. Treble clef, bass clef. So I said, okay, it is time for you to go to measure 5, bass clef. So I find measure 5. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could just say, I know that there are going to be 4 here, and I know there are going to be 4 here because I know this song. So I go to measure 5, and I want you to go to the bass clef. So you're not going to look at this guy, you're going to look at this guy. Measure 5, bass clef. Alright, I'm ready. My hand's in C position, it's ready to go. Let's say I said, okay, I want you to go to measure 7, and I want you to tell me what's going on in the treble clef. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or I could go 5, 6, 7 because this one was already written in the song. Okay, 7, treble clef. Treble clef, that means this top part. Nothing is going on. And that might be my question for you, is what's going on in the treble clef? And you would say, nothing. You are resting. There's a big old rest there. It means don't do anything. And I would say, good job. You figured it out. Okay, so time signature. This guy right here. Time signature. Tells you how many beats are in a measure. The top number means how many beats are in the measure. The bottom number means it's going to be quarter notes that get the beat. That we'll go into other stuff later on. Measures. Measures break up the beats, and they tell you, okay, there are going to be 4 in each measure. So here's the start of a measure 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's a measure, sorry, here's a bar line. Here's a bar line. There should be 4 beats in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar line to bar line. Here's a measure. Here's the third measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it keeps going and keeps going. Double bar line means it's the end of the song. Repeat signs mean repeat it. Repeat signs mean find the inside dots, which are over here, and if there are no inside dots, you go to the beginning of the song, and then repeat the whole song. And then the very last thing is treble clef, bass clef. Treble clef high, bass clef low. Treble clef right hand, bass clef left hand. Treble clef right hand, bass clef left hand. Hopefully that will help you remember. Okay, I know this song got super busy looking in my paint program, but hopefully helped. Alright, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, thanks for listening.